Hi, I'm Josephine. This is my channel, The Versatile Housewife, and I think that it's important to have community and it's worth the struggle to build it up if you lack it. Some of us are fortunate to have family nearby. I used to live a lot closer to my side of the family, but my husband and I had moved away from that state. So, my mom and my siblings, hundreds of miles away, makes it a little bit hard to be around to physically help and interact and just to be able to go out and socialize. So here I am, uh, and we don't live near his side of the family either. It was a great career opportunity for him, and we found a house. Like, financially, this has been great, but like the first year or so was kind of rough. And then I did get at least like one, two friends, but I didn't see him a whole lot. But now it's like a solid friend group and starting to get to know my neighbors and being a part of a church. I think the thing that is just, it kind of comes with the punches is, yeah, there's more drama, but I'm not as dramatic, if that makes sense. I think having, especially when you are curating your own community as opposed to just family being there, being related to each other, I don't think like handling drama is like, it's uncomfortable, but part of being a mature adult and having mature adult relationships is being able to have conversation and stuff comes up. But ultimately I think it's made me a better person. I have people to shut, and like the crazy thing is the little bit of drama that there is, you know what, it's like I don't fight with my husband as much. I don't know, like maybe I was bored, and not like fight, but just nitpicking or disagreements. There's just not as much. I'm focused on other things, focused on other people. I know one of the issues that he has is sometimes I book up my week with my friends because we all have kids too, so our kids all play together, and it's like, well, it's play dates, especially if some of us are trying to homeschool. We have to prioritize getting our kids, interacting with other kids, doing things for kids, going on nature trails, doing the children's museums, But sometimes it's like, I just miss you. I want to spend time with you. But overall, it's been worth it. So I've been living where I am currently since the end of 2021, and it is now we're in spring of 2025. So working on 4 years, and it's been hard, but I think it is so worth it. And what prompted me kind of to do this is just I felt very satisfied last week just with the outings that I had and the play dates that I had, and especially like last night I was just talking to my neighbor, and it's like, well, when kids are in bed, I can come over, like the other people in the house, right? So other people in the house and stuff, but I'll help you stain your bunk bed stuff. Like, I don't mind. It's like, okay, so we knocked it out, and we knocked it out so fast because there was two of us, and it was nice because we're moms, like the threshold for having fun is kind of low. So staining wood, but being able to yap and chat and get to know each other made it a lot more fun. But I've really appreciated building up a community, and I strongly urge that if you are lacking that, it is worth the effort. It is worth going through possibly having some drama or friend breakups. Friend breakups are hard. I've never actually had my husband's been the only person I've been in a romantic relationship with, but even with the issues that I've had friend breakups. They are very hard. It's very awkward. But I would still say being afraid of having a friend breakup is, I think that has less weight to it than building up a community of people around you that in person, not just online. Like, online communities are great. When I hear encouraging comments and I see people encouraging me on my quilting or things like that, absolutely, that is wonderful, but it's still not quite the same as when you have people to talk to in person and you're going on a walk, or you're rotating whose garden we're spending the day in, and doing projects together, or just spending time together, kids getting around each other. Because the other thing too with having friends with kids, I am teaching my kids and stuff, like socializing is important if I will be homeschooling them. And you don't have, like, having a community doesn't actually mean that you have to be super close and click that well with other people either. I don't click perfectly with everyone that I interact with, but we can also have friends with different interests. Like, maybe one friend I click with a lot, but they want to do shopping, right? And I can't shop all the time. And so we can't meet up like that all the time. And another friend's happy to do like hiking and stuff, and that's much more affordable. Pack a lunch and go on a hike. Or some friends, they don't want to hike; they just want to go house to house and just have coffee together. Like, you can have friendships where they just kind of fulfill certain aspects. I was talking to my husband, and he said that that's kind of like how men do it. they they build friendships based on tasks, and so it's hard because he's trying to really step up and kind of have like a dad group the way that I have a mom group, especially as the kids are getting older. But he did things like built a snow machine, and it's like, like, hey, like, bring kids over, and dads just aren't the same. If they don't want to do the snow machine, they're not going to do it for their kids the same way. It seems to be kind of an issue. But we like the performance vehicles and stuff, and so getting into things like bicycles, biking, four-wheelers, dirt bikes, like starting to see if kids are interested in that. Like, we found the kids' motorsportplex nearby, and he's going to start taking them to that and maybe meet more friends on his end. So whenever he's watching the kids, it's not purely just being at home with dad. They actually or going on a hike with dad, but they can do play dates as well with him. That might be different than the types of play dates I do. He's less likely to take them to a museum. I'm more likely to take them to a museum. He's more likely to take them to to be the one teaching them to ride bicycles. I don't really want to do that. If my baby gets hurt, I'm done. That's it. It's a wrap. So yeah, I highly encourage, this is not legal advice. I don't know. I saw a video where people were saying in the US, even if you just do like a small YouTube video, people can sue you for crazy stuff. I don't think I've done anything that really warrants that, but I don't know. I just felt like throwing that in there. It's not legal advice. I'm not a therapist, but I do find that for my own mental health, it is so refreshing to be able to have friends, to have people who can come over, sit on my porch, appreciate my plants. And then if my house is chaos, I then take my kids to their house to be chaotic. But even after a visit, usually cleaning up is just 10 times easier. You have some kids, they start picking up. Now, the kids have to learn too. When you have play dates with other moms and parents in general, like, the kids are learning to interact with each other too, but I think that's a good thing. They're learning how to interact and be good guests, take their shoes off, help pick up, like, ask politely if you need something. And there's just so many positive aspects to having a community. This video, I'm not really going to edit it. It's a little bit more rambly because the topic was more spur of a moment. Because originally I was thinking I would just come up with an idea of like more like a channel update, even though it's like mindset, because I had weird dreams about stuff that means transition, like seeing my deceased body, and I was like, well, what does that mean? I'm looking up online. It means going through change, and it's like, well, okay. So that seemed like a great, like, what do you think my channel should look like, kind of. But then my neighbor came over and helped me, and we knocked out staining the rest of the wood. I'm not going to put a picture in this video. I'm going to do a bunk bed update next, I think, for tomorrow as my tasks. But it encouraged me to want to encourage you. If it feels hard, like it is hard. Making friends is hard. Making quality friends is hard. And you don't have to perfectly click with someone just effortlessly for them to still be a quality friend. You just have to have values aligned. And sometimes people, like, it's this friendship, we are hiking friends, or we are gardening friends, we're crafting friends, we do crafts together, we do quilts together. It's perfectly okay to have just a section too that you click on. The bond will grow over time, even in other areas. Not all your friends are going to get along either if you're trying to build like a big group. And that can be awkward, but I would say, like, don't let it stop you. Like, if you ever want to be the hosting house, I want to be the hosting house. I want to be the house that does all these things. I'm doing so much work in my yard. And my yard is shaped so poorly, and like the best place to put the garden based on sunlight is right where my septic tank and leach field are. So obviously I have to reconsider, and I'm not that opposed to doing raised beds with like plastic linings over the leach field, or like only like potting if I end up making any kind of patio or gazebo in that area, so that nothing's just directly on the ground in the leach field. But Yeah, I want to be the hosting house, but things that happen with hosting is people will come over, especially if you start bringing over not just the friends, but more of their kids. They ask if they can invite people. Not everyone's going to click, not everyone's going to get along, not every party's going to be a success, but in building a community, you have to try. So, this is my encouragement to you. If it's something that you want, you have to try. And you have to get out of the house too to make friends. I used the Peanut app for a little bit, definitely wasn't for me. I made one friend off of it, but outside of that, I mean, there's the Facebook groups that a lot of people will join, like mom groups, playdate groups. But because this video is directly more so like glean what you can. When I wasn't worried about kids, like Bumble BFF worked just fine, but for it to be with kids, I think that getting to meet people in person, like just striking up conversations at the splash pad. So you got to be bold, get yourself out there. It's like friend dating, you know, like friend pickups, friend pickup lines. You know, you got to put yourself out there. But I do think that meeting people in person, it's a lot easier to see, do we click? Because a lot of people, you might click over text and then you don't click at all in person. And not that I'm saying that you have to perfectly click with someone. But you know when it's like completely off, you're both disinterested, or at least one person's very disinterested, and it's like, okay, no thanks. I'd spent like a whole week trying to set up this, or you're trying to like spend a whole week setting something up, and then it doesn't happen. But this is everything that you have to go through to build that community that you so desire. And what's my encouragement? Because I've been doing it, and it sucked, and I dealt with the feelings of rejection, which doesn't feel good. Being rejected, it doesn't feel good to be repeatedly rejected. But I have found my diamonds in the rough, and it's the few friends that I do have now have given me confidence to be able to talk to more people and make more friends. And also just in regards to my home, like I look at my home and it gives me more ideas of things that I want to do with things in mind. Like when my kids have friends over, that's part of having the playroom, and it's been great because when I have mom friends with their kids coming over, like my playroom for my kids is a pretty great and decently like safe. One of the shock absorbers broke, so I have these big toy benches and it slams, so I have to fix that. That's not safe, but otherwise it's a nice safe spot for kids to play and maybe be a little bit more reckless without really damaging anything. Yeah, I think I'm just rambling at my house, rambling about my house at this point. But if anything that I said here you found to be useful or encouraging and you liked it, maybe consider giving this video a thumbs up. How do you feel about building up a community? Have you had issues? Did you find your diamonds in the rough? Are you blessed that like you've just been in your hometown and you have family? You know, I know some people will have issues with their family, so it's still better to have friends. But I remember being a kid and there was way more family, so it was easy. As a kid, I got to go to my aunt's house, cousins' homes, aunts and uncles. But even if you still live in your hometown, maybe you do have a lot more support and family. But increasingly, people in my age group are just not having kids or not having kids yet. And so even just with my siblings and my cousins who are my age and in-laws, it's less people having kids. So I still can't relate to people in my family, even when I did live nearby. And so I was trying to find mom friends back there. Maybe you're experiencing that. And as far as subscribing to my channel, on Mondays, I tried to post about mindset and homemaking. And so today was about community. But other than that, I try sharing tasks that I've completed when Tuesday rolls around. And I somewhere between Wednesdays and Fridays, I have been getting better at uploading progress on projects like my quilts. However, I still I want to be someone who does a WIP Wednesday, you know, work in progress Wednesday. I still can't get them on. I can this Wednesday because I actually worked on it over the weekend and filmed at least one of my quilts. But feel free to subscribe if you're not really into the variety and you just appreciated this video. Thank you for making it to the end. I hope that you have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye.